Yeah, I'm fine. And you're front running, bandwagon jumping is exactly what you're doing. And now you got your Islanders sweatshirt on today.
They sent this to me. I thought it would be nice to wear.
Yeah, by the way, it looks good, though.
Yeah,
it does look good. Yeah, I do like it. Yeah.
It's a nice deal.
Who makes it?
You know what? I don't know. I did not look at the tag. You want to see the tag? You want to go underneath the mullet?
What's on the other sleeve?
Is it Fanatics? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I guess that's a Fanatics. I don't know if it's a Fanatics brand, but it's nice looking.
Yeah, no, it's
very,
very nice.
Anything that says playoffs is a good thing. And tonight's going to be a huge night for the Islanders and their fans at the Coliseum. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be raucous. And hopefully their goalie will continue his hot streak, 3 in a row for Ilya Sorokin. I will say that I did catch the net game last night. It's too easy, man. It's just way too easy. Like last night looked like a scrimmage to me.
It's just enough for the Celtics.
And again, it's and I know there's been a number of articles written about it and everything. You and I have been talking about it since James Harden got here, how he's changed his game and everything. I think he took one shot in the first quarter, and he recognized that Joe Harris was filling it up. And it's like, let's just give it to Joe Harris. Let's just let him do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me, again, is the unselfishness that James Harden anyway, has. Like he still needs to, had a 4-point play last night, hits an unbelievable shot, guys diving into him and everything else. And, the Celtics don't have a chance.
No.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
No,
it's not even. I said 16-5. They may go like 16-3.
Well, they're not losing a game in this series, that's for sure. And it will get a lot tougher for them. I'm not saying that they're not going to be favored. They'll be favored throughout, but it will get a lot more difficult for them in the second round against the Milwaukee Bucks. But Adam Silver should just step in and say, if the Celtics can't keep Game 3 within 10 points, then there will be no Game 4. Let's just forget about it. Because why are we even wasting our time?
Well,
honestly, why are we wasting our time?
They have TV contracts, and God forbid.
I'm not being serious about it, but the point is that this is such a giant mismatch. That's like, why the hell are we even doing this?
I would also say that it also has a lot to do with maybe potential for guys to get hurt. They play in these games. You see what happened to Chris Paul out in Phoenix in Game 1, and then he comes back in Game 2, and he can barely lift his right arm, which is his shooting side.
Yeah.
And, they're limiting in his minutes, and, that was a great game last night, but the Lakers come back and win it. So they now tie that series up 1-1, and they got to go to L.A. The Mavericks are just crushing the Clippers, by the way.
Yeah.
They're up 2-0. And, look, it's, I don't know, the Nets... If James Harden is going to play like this, forget it. There's just no way that anybody's going to be able to handle them. There's just not this. It's so obvious.
This isn't a great litmus test or measuring stick or whatever stupid cliche we like to use in sports talk for the Nets. It's just not. I mean, they'll be favored against the Bucks. They'll be fine in that series, most likely. I think that'd be a series that could go 6 or 7. They'll still be favored in it and probably win. But this is not even. This. You know what this is? This is the series to get them ready to go and play better teams. Because the regular season, they had a total of 9 games together. It was so disjointed. You never had any continuity or consistency. So this is what these 4 games will be, is those guys figuring each other out a little bit more and getting on the same page so they can continue to roll. But, we said again, it doesn't feel right when it's this easy. These guys barely played together, and then they're just out there and they're smoking people. It's insane.
Well, and Sean Marks deserves credit, maybe not just for putting the big 3 together, but also the bit parts. And Joe Harris is more than a bit part, and he's had a terrific year. And when you are worried about Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving, and they, and by the way, they all scored 20 points or more, so they're going to do that every game. But when you have a guy, they scored 71 points in the first half last night. It was like, forget it. It was up and down. Ball was being moved around. And, Joe Harris is filling up 3-pointers like nothing else is going on. And James Harden recognized it and said, look, this is not about me scoring points. It's not about Kevin Durant or anybody else. It's about doing what's right for the team. And he's saying all the right things. So you may not like, or we may not have liked how he got out of Houston or how he played in Houston. But this is a different player. This is a different player right now, and he's playing unselfish basketball, and that's the key to these guys winning and winning handedly. And I still say 16-5, and they'll hoist the championship, assuming that none of these guys get hurt.
But I'm worried about Nerlens Noel. I want to see him healthy. I want to see him play. That's a big deal. We've been focusing on Julius Randle and his performance and if it's going to be better and can the Knicks win if he's not the Julius Randle we saw in the regular season as he wins Most Improved Player yesterday. But I don't want to see a hobbled Nerlens Noel because I believe that changes and shifts the series.
You know how Anthony Davis said for the Lakers, if I play like I did in game one, we're going to lose. I need to pick up my game. And sure enough, last night he picked up his game. And that's the same thing that Julius Randle will have to do. And R.J. Barrett, too, for that matter. I just think that Trae Young's going to be a pain in the neck again. And he's going to be a pain in the neck this entire series. He is quick as a cat, and they're going to have to figure out ways to defend him and defend the pick and roll and all that stuff that they keep talking about. And it seems so simple. It is simple on paper, but it's not simple when you're actually trying to do it, and you're trying to do it against a guy that is quick as Trae Young is. That's the thing. That's the thing in sports that people don't realize. Every sport, whether it be like, say, Tyreek Hill in football, all right, you know what the coverage is and you know how you want to double them or whatever else. What you can't really take into account is his speed in the midst of a game and how fast it is and how quick he is and just the athletic IQ of how to get open. It's the same thing with Trae Young. You could have everything drawn up. You could have Frank Ntilikina and you could tell him, look, for 2 hours, sit on the bench and just imagine that you're not going to let him go right. Just imagine that. So now you get out there, you feel like you got great positioning on him, and then all of a sudden his unbelievable athleticism takes over, his quickness, his ability to hold on to the ball, and he goes right around Frank Ntilikina, even though Frank Ntilikina has been told 1,000 times what his responsibility is. I'm not blaming anything on Frank Ntilikina. I'm just telling you, they are trying to stop an incredible athlete. That's what is in front of the Knicks. They have to stop that athlete. And in the fourth quarter of the first game, he got to the line because that's what he does. He draws fouls. Even when there's not a foul, he knows how to draw the foul, which is a part of the art of the game. Walt Frazier did that as good as anybody back in the day.
Well, James Harden, too, right now, if you want to talk about.
We needed three-pointers back in the day when there was no three-point line.
Yeah.
What would Walt do? He'd get his defender up in the air. He'd lean into him. He'd shoot it. He'd make it, and then he'd make the 3-point. And then he'd make the free throw. So certain guys have a real knack for being able to do that, and Trae Young is one of those guys. So, again, it's going to be a collective group of guys trying to defend him. And I'm sure Thibodeau looked at the film, showed these guys a million times what they have to do in order to stop them. But good luck when reality strikes you in the face and you have a guy like Trae Young. I think the Knicks will win tonight. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, they've bounced back in every
Julius
situation
Randle's
this year.
Going to bounce back tonight. He's gonna have a great game.
He will be. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. I can't, and any Knicks fan can't lose faith in Julius Randle after one game like that of what he's given us this year. So yeah, I expect him to play well.
They have to get. To me, and I know Knicks fans will probably hate when I say this, but Elfrid Payton's got to be a part of this. Not for 30 minutes. I'm not saying he needs to be out there for 30 minutes because I know he's really struggled and he's kind of lost his way a little bit. But he's long and lean enough to be able to defend Trae Young. He's got to be a part of defending Trae Young. They all have to be because Derrick Rose is going to have a hell of a time with him.
Yeah, I wonder if Thibodeau does something different with the starting lineup. Not that it matters all that much because, Elfrid Payton was barely in the game in game one.
But he has to have minutes. He's got to have some minutes, and he's got to do it on the defensive side of the basketball. Try not to turn the ball over and just play solid defense.
If he's going to be a liability and he can't make any shots and he's going to turn the ball over, then it's like, why even have him in the game?
Well, it's minutes for defense. It's a big part of who the Knicks are. They had the number one defense in the league this year, and he was a part of that. Whether we like it or not, or whether we think he on the offense. See, on the offensive end of the ball, he's the opposite of Trae Young. On the defensive side of the ball, he's the opposite of Trae Young.
Yeah,
I just think that they all have to have minutes. They do. It's a collective group of guys trying to stop this jitterbug out on the court that is just impossible to stop.
Jitterbug.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that song is now automatically in my head the rest of the day. Dun 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 dun. All right, so things I want to see tonight.
All right.
Nerlens Noel, how healthy is he? Does Tom Thibodeau change his philosophy on trying to stop Trae Young? Do we see a concerted effort, or is it just, hey, this guy's going to do what he does, and we just need to be a little bit better at executing that plan? And how much better is Julius Randle from what we saw in Game 1? Those are the three big things for me. Those are the three keys to the game, I'm throwing out keys to the game for you, like a freaking pregame.
Yeah, I would say this, that it is... he can't play any worse than he did in Game 1. When you go back and you look at it, and it was about as bad as he could have played.
He was all anybody else,
it was almost like he didn't get any sleep the night before. And
you could tell it was getting to him. His performance was getting to him as the game was going on. You could tell his demeanor was not there.
And in the fourth quarter, a couple times, he passed up shots.
Yeah, I know. Well, he knew. Sometimes, though, in that situation, when you know you don't have it, I kind of respect it. And he did hit that big three in the fourth quarter and rattled that one in. But, he didn't have it. I would have almost been like, that final shot, with Tom Thibodeau's drawing it up for Julius Randle, be like, listen, Alec Burks, he's been carrying us. I got nothing tonight.
You know what's wrong with that? First of all, there's only 0.9 seconds left, so you got to draw something up that's going to get the ball off quickly. But that was the one area where like Thibodeau was like, let's give it to the star and let's see if he can win it for us or tie it for us. He
wasn't the star,
but he's not. He wasn't the star. That's like, to me, I felt like Thibodeau, who's been great all year long and does have the pulse of this team and understands how to manage games and help the team along when calling right timeouts or if somebody makes a mistake on defense. I just thought that was the one area where he just kind of blew it.
Yeah,
I know you talk about he blew it when they put Neil Akina in, but he did it at the end of the first half. That was part of their game plan.
Right. Those were the two things I couldn't stand, was the Neil Akina thing at the very last possession and then drawing it up for Julius Randle and having Alec Burks be the inbound passer. I didn't like that, either one of those things, but whatever. I mean, this is the biggest problem. Now, it's nice that they have 2 days off because of the Noel injury, but the biggest problem with losing a heartbreaker like that and having 2 games in between is I can't shake it. I need to see the tip-off of Game 2. I'm so tired of talking about the same stuff and Neil Akina and Burks and Randall and Trae Young and the bleep Trae Young. We need something else now. I've been hyper-focusing on that crap, and I can't wait for it to tip tonight. And obviously, I was thinking more about it. That 6:30 start for the Islanders is tremendous to get an hour of that game in before you get the Knicks and having to compete, and then it'll be over, and you can focus on the Knicks. So that's probably why they moved it up to 6:30. I would imagine.
And I would expect that Pavel Zacha will make his playoff debut for the Islanders. I can't imagine that Oliver Wahlstrom would be able to play. And the good thing about Zacha is that he can play right wing, which he'll be asked to play, but he's also a center. And one of the reasons I think that he was the throw-in part of the trade for Palmieri was just for that reason. If they needed another center somewhere along the line, or he could be on Pajot's line and be out there, you essentially have 2 centers, which is good in defensive zone faceoff situations. So it looks like it's probably going to be Pavel Zacha out there for the Islanders tonight. So I just, Sorokin's been amazing. The thing about the Knicks, they have a little bit of the Islander kind of grit to them. They know that who they are, and they'll come out and they'll play their asses off tonight. I really believe that. I really believe that this team that we watched for 73 games this season, has basically the second half of the season has had a consistency about it, where they may have had an off game, they may have lost a tough game like the Phoenix game, and then they go out west and they go out and they win the first 2 games. Back. They have bounced back all year. That has been their kind of personality. So I would think that would be the same for them. And then the Islanders are going to have their hands full again tonight because the Penguins. The hardest game to win is the one that clinches the series.
Sure.
And this is going to be a bitch tonight, and there's no question about it, but this is what playoff hockey's all about. This is what playoff basketball is all about. The Nets are making it look easy. Corey Kluber's hurt. DeGrom pitches 5 innings last night.
Syndergaard has to get ripped out of his rehab start.
Yeah, but maybe that was just a little bit of a precaution. Who knows?
Well, but he's always elbow with a guy.
Well, tell him to go out and put his feet in the sand and kind of become one with Earth or something.
Right. Eat a cow's ass or something, whatever he does.
Cow's heart. He eats a heart and liver, not an ass. Why would you eat an ass? Is there a thing?
He eats everything.
He eats a heart, but he eats a heart and a liver.
From the head to the rear, he eats everything. That's what he does. I'm not making it up. I read it.
We talked about it.
He eats everything.
You said Al said he wouldn't eat a heart.
I know.
Don't you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember. I'm just telling you that he eats everything. So.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.